Welcome to the Facilitators Deep Dive Podcast, your podcast on your way to facilitation mastery.
Today we're tackling something you might find surprisingly relevant to your work, liberating structures. It's a whole new way of thinking about how groups work together. And we're going straight to the source, the Liberating Structures website, to unpack the most impactful insights for you.
What's fascinating about this approach is that it helps groups unlock their full potential, not by adding complexity, but by simplifying things.
Okay, that sounds a bit counterintuitive. How can simplifying things actually make groups more effective?
Well, Liberating Structures offer a collection of 33 alternative ways to structure how groups interact. Think of them as carefully designed microstructures, small tweaks to the way we meet, plan, and make decisions.
So instead of defaulting to the same old presentations or brainstorming sessions that often leave people feeling disengaged or frustrated, we can use these microstructures to shake things up a bit.
Exactly. And these microstructures are designed to address a fundamental problem with the way many groups operate. Conventional structures often fall into two extremes. They're either too rigid and controlling, stifling creativity and engagement, or they're too loose and unstructured, leading to chaos and wasted potential.
You know, I've definitely been in those meetings where it feels like either everyone is talking over each other or no one wants to speak up at all. It's like we're stuck between a rock and a hard place.
And that's where liberating structures come in. They offer a middle ground, a way to create structure without stifling creativity, to encourage participation without descending into chaos.
Okay, I'm starting to see the appeal, but how do these microstructures actually work? What makes them so different?
One key factor is their simplicity. Liberating structures are designed to be easy to learn and use by anyone, regardless of their experience or expertise. They're like the rules of a game. Anyone can participate and contribute effectively once they understand the basic principles.
That makes sense. So it's not about having some special skill set or being a meeting guru. It's about following a set of simple guidelines that help everyone get on the same page and contribute their best ideas.
Exactly. And the beauty of these microstructures is that they can lead to big results. It's like making tiny adjustments to a recipe. Sometimes a subtle change in ingredients or cooking time can transform a dish from ordinary to extraordinary.
So it's about finding those small but impactful tweaks that can unlock a group's full potential.
Precisely. And to guide these microstructures, liberating structures are built upon 10 core principles. These principles encourage specific behaviors and leadership actions that help create a more inclusive and productive environment.
Tell me more about these principles. They sound like the secret sauce that makes these structures so effective.
One principle that I find particularly powerful is everyone designs. It emphasizes that everyone in a group has the capacity to contribute creatively, not just designated leaders or experts.
I love that idea. It's about recognizing that everyone has valuable insights and perspectives to offer, regardless of their role or title. That could be really transformative for teams.
Absolutely. When you embrace the principle of everyone designs, you tap into the collective wisdom of the group and create a more equitable and engaging environment.
Okay, so everyone designs encourages participation and empowers individuals. Are there other principles that focus on how the work itself gets done?
Yes. Another key principle is, where is the work happening? This principle challenges the traditional notion of top-down control and encourages groups to distribute leadership and decision-making power.
Interesting. So instead of having one person dictating what everyone else should do, it's about empowering individuals to take ownership of their work and contribute in a meaningful way.
Precisely. It's about shifting the focus from who's in charge to where is the work happening, and creating a more collaborative and self-organizing environment.
I can see how that would appeal to someone like you, who's all about gaining knowledge and figuring things out for yourself. It's about giving people the freedom to explore, experiment, and contribute in a way that feels authentic and empowering.
And this principle isn't just some abstract theory. There are real-world examples of how it can lead to amazing results. For instance, the website mentions a team of healthcare professionals who used liberating structures to develop new strategies for preventing the spread of superbugs. By distributing control and empowering everyone to contribute, they were able to come up with innovative solutions. That had a real impact.
That's incredible. It shows how these principles can be applied in all sorts of settings, from healthcare to education to business, and that even small shifts in how we work together can have a big impact.
Now, the website provides a whole menu of these structures, each designed for a specific purpose. You've got everything from simple techniques like 1, 2, 4, all, a quick way to generate and refine ideas in small groups.
To more complex structures like open space technology, which is like a self-organizing conference for large group gatherings. Wow. It's amazing how diverse these structures
It
are.
really is. There's a liberating structure for almost any situation you can imagine.
With so many structures to choose from, how do you even know where to begin? Which ones are the most essential to understand?
Well, for you, I think a structure called Tree's Eye would be particularly intriguing, given your love of learning and solving problems in creative ways.
TIZ. I've never heard of that one. Tell me more.
It's a problem-solving technique that helps teams overcome seemingly impossible dilemmas. You know those situations where you're stuck between two desirable outcomes that seem mutually exclusive.
Oh, like when you want to increase productivity, but also improve work-life balance, or when you need to save money, but also invest in new technology, those kinds of contradictions.
Exactly. KRAZ provides a structured way to navigate those dilemmas and come up with breakthrough solutions.
Okay, that definitely sounds like something I'd want to learn more about. I'm always looking for new ways to tackle those tricky problems.
And what's really cool is that the Liberating Structures website even includes a video demonstrating TRIZ in action. You can actually see how it works in a real-world setting.
Perfect. I'm adding that to my watch list right now.
Now, beyond the specific structures themselves, it's important to understand the broader benefits of adopting this approach.
So what does this all mean for someone like me? Or for any listener who's intrigued by these ideas? How can liberating structures actually make a difference in our work and lives?
Well, think about the challenges we often face in group settings. Lack of engagement, feeling like our ideas aren't being heard, frustration, and ultimately, a sense that we're not reaching our full potential. Liberating structures offer a way to break free from those limitations. They help us create environments where everyone feels safe to contribute, where ideas can flow freely, and where we can tap into our collective wisdom to achieve extraordinary results.
So it's about personal growth and transformation, as well as better outcomes.
Exactly. By engaging with liberating structures, you start to develop new habits of thinking and interacting. You become more aware of your own biases and assumptions, and more open to the perspectives of others.
It's like building new muscles for collaboration and innovation.
That's a great analogy. And the beauty of this approach is that anyone can start using these techniques today. You don't need fancy degrees or specialized training. The Liberating Structures website provides all the resources you need to get started.
So for our listeners who are ready to dive in and start experimenting with liberating structures, what would you recommend as a first step?
I'd encourage them to check out the website and browse through the different structures, think about the challenges you're facing in your own work or life, and see if a structure jumps out at you as a possible solution.
So it's about finding a structure that resonates with your specific needs and goals, not just trying to force fit a structure into a situation where it doesn't belong.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to experiment. Try out different structures, see what works, what doesn't, and adapt them to fit your unique context.
It's all about finding what liberates the best in you and the people you work with, which makes me wonder, what are some common pitfalls or mistakes people make when they first start using liberating structures?
One common mistake is trying to do too much too soon. Start with a simple structure like 1, 2, 4, all, and get comfortable with the basic principles before moving on to more complex structures.
Okay, so start small, build confidence, and then gradually expand your repertoire. That makes sense. What about the role of the facilitator? Is there anything specific people need to keep in mind when facilitating a liberating structure?
It's crucial to remember that the facilitator's role is not to be the expert or the leader. Instead, the facilitator is there to guide the process, to ensure that everyone has a voice, and to create a space where people feel safe to share their ideas. It's about serving the group, not controlling it.
So it's more about creating the conditions for success than dictating what that success should look like.
Precisely. And that can be a real shift in mindset for people who are used to more traditional top-down approaches to leadership.
Speaking of mindset shifts, do you think there are any personal qualities or skills that make someone particularly well-suited to using liberating structures?
I think the most important qualities are curiosity, empathy, and a willingness to let go of control. If you're genuinely curious about other people's perspectives, if you can empathize with their challenges and aspirations, and if you're willing to trust the group's wisdom, you'll be well on your way to becoming an effective facilitator of liberating structures.
Those qualities sound like they'd benefit anyone, not just those who are interested in facilitating groups.
Absolutely. They're essential skills for anyone who wants to be a more effective collaborator and human being.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. We've learned what liberating structures are, why they work, and how they can benefit both individuals and organizations. We've explored some key principles, highlighted a specific structure, TRIZ, that might be particularly useful for our listeners, and even discussed tips for getting started and avoiding common pitfalls.
And I think a key takeaway here is that liberating structures are more than just a set of tools.
They're a mindset, a way of approaching group work with intention, and a commitment to unleashing the full potential of every participant.
And that shift in perspective can be truly transformative, not just for the work we do, but for the way we relate to each other and the world around us.
Beautifully said. Now, before we wrap up, I know you have a thought-provoking question for our listeners, something to really get their creative juices flowing.
If you could design one liberating structure to address a specific challenge you're facing right now, what would it look like? How would it help you and the people you work with to tap into your collective wisdom and achieve extraordinary results? I encourage you to take some time to really ponder that question.
That's a fantastic challenge to leave our listeners with, and for those who are eager to learn more and start experimenting with liberating structures, we highly encourage you to visit the Liberating Structures website. It's an incredible resource filled with detailed descriptions of each structure, facilitator guides, videos, and even real-world examples.
It's everything you need to embark on your own journey of liberating structures and unleashing the potential within yourself and your teams.
It really is a treasure trove of information and inspiration. And you know, for our listeners who might be feeling a bit overwhelmed by all this talk of structures and principles, I want to emphasize that liberating structures are not about adding complexity to your life.
They're about making things simpler and more enjoyable.
Exactly. It's about finding ways to work together that feel more natural, more engaging, and more aligned with our human need for connection and creativity.
It's about rediscovering the joy of collaboration and tapping into the collective wisdom that exists within every group.
So if you're tired of the same old meetings, the same old frustrations, and the same old sense of unfulfilled potential, I encourage you to give liberating structures a try.
You might just be surprised by what you and your team can achieve when you break free from conventional structures and embrace a more liberating way of working together.
And remember, this is just the beginning of your journey. The more you explore and experiment with liberating structures, the more you'll discover their power to transform the way you work and interact with others.
It's like opening up a whole new toolbox for collaboration and innovation. And once you start using these tools, you'll wonder how you ever got along without them.
I think that's a perfect note to end on. A sense of possibility, a spark of curiosity, and an invitation to step into a world where group work can be not just productive, but truly liberating.
So go forth, fellow deep divers, and liberate your structures. Unleash the potential within yourselves and the groups you work with, and let's create a world where everyone feels empowered to contribute their best ideas and shape a brighter future.
That's it for this deep dive into liberating structures. We hope you've enjoyed exploring this fascinating approach to group work, and we can't wait to hear about the amazing things you achieve when you start liberating your structures.
See you next time on the Facilitators Deep Dive Podcast, your podcast on your way to facilitation mastery. Until next time.
See you then.